good friends. We have Stephen Billingham, who is the director of the HTA school in Johannesburg, South Africa. And he's there waving his hand. And we have Zahir Ahmed from the Cotton in Pakistan. Both of them education partners of Worldchefs and great supporters of Worldchefs. And we'll be coming to them a little bit later in the show, just to get their feedback, their input on how has it worked for them to be a member of our education network, John.
Yeah.
But we'll get back to them later. We'll have plenty of time to chat with them, and then our audience can have some questions, and we can have some exchange, and this is why we're here for. It really is to connect with. I think many of the people that are coming on board, they are already education partners or somehow linked to Worldchefs. So it was good to see that. But more importantly, we're always looking to enlarge the family, and we want to see new partners on board, because in numbers we are stronger, right, John?
Absolutely, no, totally. I mean, we can talk about how it all started, but somebody from Randall, I'm sure Randall McNair, my chef from Dublin, very good. Some very nice messages coming in here. So we've got 88. We're going to hit, I'd say, 100 participants today, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I see people still coming on board.
I think it's great because I think, as you know, this is the second in our series of webinars for the recognition program, and certainly the first one was very, very, very well supported, and we had a lot of interest from schools who have since signed up, which is fantastic. So and that's the whole purpose of this here. And again, as you have already done, I'd like to welcome Stephen and Zahir as well. They're great supports of Worldchefs and of the recognition program and their badging and certification programs as well. So we look forward to chatting with them later on in the show here to just to get their views on their how they the value of their association with Worldchefs and badging. So I think it's really good. Yeah.
Right, John. So I see. We have a number of participants here, and maybe we can just kick it off slowly, just to go over the agenda and a little bit of introduction. So if anybody comes in a little bit late, they haven't lost anything out today. An introduction. We'll talk about how you can join the education partnership, the different routes to join, and explore some of the benefits of being an education partner. And we'll have a closer look on what the process is for people to apply.
Absolutely.
And then we hear it from Stephen and Zahir here. Just before going live for questions and answers. So that's the agenda for us today, John. And I think just if we can just jump right into it. I think most people are now on board. There's one odd one off that is sort of coming in late, but
that's okay. I mean, we get people will be kind of drifting on. But I think at this point,
John, we just hit the 91 number. I guess everybody's coming on now. So
it's great.
Exciting.
So look
for our first poll.
Yeah, exactly. This is our first poll. So our first poll is, and we'd like the respondents to answer these if they could. And the first one is, are you representing a culinary or hospitality training school? Is it a yes or no? Is your school currently recognized as the Worldchefs Education Partner? And thirdly, are you a decision maker or part of a decision-making team at a culinary, hospitality or training school? So there's the three questions. So if you could select your responses there, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, whichever. Hopefully they're all yeses. And then we will move on then from there.
Xenia is helping us with the polling here. How much time do we need to leave them, Xenia? You let us know when people have sort of come into terms with how easy it is to tick a box. Here we go.
Well, we have around 60 answers now. I can close the poll so you can see the results now. And here we go, the results. You can see them on the screen.
Not yet, no, I can't see them. No. Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, so we have 77% are representing a culinary hospitality training.
That's great. Yeah.
And we have about 70% who is not currently a Worldchefs Education Partner. So 32% currently education partner. So we have a lot of new people with us, John. So I think it's important that we explain carefully.
That's what we want.
The principle, and I can see the last question, decision makers, we have 73% decision makers or a part of a decision-making team. So you're at the right spot and we have the right audience. So great for us to catch up.
Yeah, fantastic.
John, but just before we get started, now maybe Xenia, you want to just pull us a slide forward, a couple of slides forward. And John, maybe you can tell us, let's have another slide, Xenia. A little bit of the history, because you and I, we've been here long enough to remember the old times when we started, 2011.
Absolutely, 2011. Yeah, well, and it was an interesting time because I was the chair of the Education Committee at the time, and what we did was, Xenia, can you pull down that poll screen if you wouldn't mind? Sorry. Can I close that? I can't.
I think you should just.
I closed it. I have it closed. Sorry, my fault. I closed it. Yeah. So sorry. That's great. So okay. So basically, what happened, and it goes back to, I suppose, the fact that education has always been a pillar of Worldchefs. It's one of the 4 pillars, and a lot of emphasis would have been placed on the relationship that we have with schools and so on and so forth, because prior to that we didn't have that same relationship. I'm happy to say today that we have a very strong relationship and a great network of schools that are supporting Worldchefs. So in 2011 we created or established, if you like, the RQCE's recognition of quality culinary education. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to establish 12 standards of quality culinary education, and that they would then become the benchmark, the global benchmark for education, for schools, institutions and so on right across the world. And that's the standard that we've set, and that's the standard that all of the schools are stepping up to, which is what we wanted. That's
right. That's right. And that was our first sort of the first program we put in place. And if we go to the next slide, we took it a step further and.
Not happy with just schools. We wanted to we set about then looking at maybe at certification programs, and like that again we had spoken to a lot of our member countries and chefs and so on and so forth, and they were all saying we had various meetings and discussions and so forth, and very high on priority was certification, but certification not just for for chefs as well, like where chefs are we go out and we compete in competitions, we win medals, we get certificates and so on and so forth. But there was no recognition there for chefs, who had, very high careers and, had really done well in their own professional careers. So, this was an opportunity to try to build a program that would recognize that, not just the chefs in the industry, but also then we looked at schools as well. And I'm happy to say that we have a lot of schools who have signed up to the certification program, and I mean our 2 friends Stephen and Zahir are examples of that. They have a lot of students who have gone through the certification program. We'll talk about that later on.
Yeah, this was a groundbreaking program, and
absolutely, and it was the first in the world, never done before. No other industry has done this, and we worked with our partner City and Guilds, who have been fantastic with us, because it's about a partnership, because we needed for it to be a credible program. It had to be one that was accredited, but it also had to have strong, quality assurance background and quality assurance checks. That's all in place. That's really and I believe that's one of the strengths of the program.
That definitely is, John. So we go to the next slide. We're going to quickly go through the history, because we're going to come back to this. We're going to come back to this particular.
Yeah.
And so expanding on that, John, we now just recently launched another feature to the Education Network, which is we launched the approved courses, which basically, it's a catalog, it's a directory of training programs, training programs that either are proposed by our education partners, the culinary schools, or it can also be any third-party training program that we might have. Some are offering online training programs. We have institutions doing very specialized programs, whether it can be specializing in Korean cuisine or sushi,
absolutely,
as we have. So this is another tool to help our education partners
and we're also
their programs to a larger audience, right?
And we're also seeing a lot of online, cookery programs, cookery schools coming online as well. And there is a market for them there, and we have to recognize that. We'll be foolish of Worldchefs not to recognize that. Right. So that's part of this, the using the Worldchefs approved training program. That there's a nice, neat fit in there for them as well.
So that was just a part of the history on the sort of the timeline of how we've been working at Worldchefs. So Xenia, we can just go to next slide and let's have a look at where we are today.
Yeah. Where are we?
I don't mind talking about Worldchefs Education Partner today. It's what you just mentioned in the beginning. The history is to recognize schools who are delivering diploma education, diploma chef education, diploma pastry chef education. So recognizing the school as such, and then we have the other brink there, which is the approved courses that either for those schools to promote their courses, their programs that are maybe targeted at an already professional audience, or they could be shorter courses or online courses, upskilling courses. They have the approved course directory they can turn to, but also the approved courses directory I just mentioned earlier also is targeting any training institution that is providing training programs, as I just mentioned, specialized courses, upskilling courses that might not be a culinary school as such.
Absolutely,
Right, so that's our education network and education partners today. So we can go to next slide there, actually. And so John, we've had a growing network. If you want to tell us a little bit about the growing network of schools.
I mean, if you think about it, and I mean, okay, we celebrated 10 years last year, with the education partner, and we have at the moment 116 schools in our education partner program.
But almost 50 countries, right?
Almost 50 countries, and I mean, that's growing year on year, and the interest is continuing all the time, which is great, because obviously the schools, and we've had feedback from the schools, and I mean, one of the things they really see the value in is all of the services and all of the other programs that have been developed throughout Worldchefs, and I know we'll talk about them all later on, but they're also very important, because that means that these are programs that the schools can avail of, in some cases free of charge, and that's a huge attraction for schools, because at the end of the day, it's not just about us, saying, okay, you become part of our family, but we have to be offering them something back, and we're doing that through all these other programs. So we have all these, and I think as well, it's about a shared commitment that we have as well, that we want to make sure that the next generation of chefs and culinary students and so on and so forth, that they're getting the best education that we can give them,
Exactly, and it's a growing network we have 20 new schools
absolutely
every year, year in, year out, from anywhere in the world, and so it's becoming a big family, and we're looking forward to how we can sort of unite those in our different events, online and offline events. We'll get back to that later on.
I mean, if you think about it, 20 schools last year, we took in 20 schools last year, and we have an average of about 8 to 10 schools, in the application process, and it takes time for them to come through. But that's the interest is there, which is fantastic.
Exactly. So Xenia, we can go next, and we can jump this one and go to the next one. We're going to go directly into the recognized schools. I mentioned earlier, there are two paths. You have the schools, and you have training centers who are doing specialized programs. But for us, the school is really, that's the grassroots. It's all what Worldchef is about. It's the grassroots. It's where we get the young people from, and our future leaders of the industry. It's so important that Worldchef is working hand in hand with the culinary schools. And so, John, tell me in your words, so what does it mean to apply and achieve the recognized school status?
Okay, so what they do is, I mean, obviously they can go onto our website, and there's all the details are there. But like in short, what I would say is that they go in, we would maybe at another time we can show a little slide on how the process is, which I think there is one there somewhere.
We'll do so, yeah.
But it's very simple.
Basically, we're asking them to submit. So submit.
We asked them, first of all, they created an
our
account,
standards.
we asked them then to submit their evidence, and that evidence is then reviewed by an experienced review team. The feedback is given back to the schools, and if and when additional information is requested, that information is brought forward, and so on and so forth. And once that process takes place, then they move to the next step. But it's important to say that there's no initial outlay, there's no initial cost to this. This is it's free for them to apply initially. But once they've been approved, then they pay an annual fee. And then that the next step for that then would be that we would then hopefully sign them up for badging, and hopefully sign them up to have their programs mapped for badging. But that's another process that we would talk about later on.
And if we explore the benefits, John, why apply for those who are listening? So what are the key benefits?
Well, I mean, if you look at it here, you can see it here, and I think this slide kind of really explains it all really well. If you look at, if you want to bolster your reputation for excellence, well, there's no better place to do it than through a World Chef program. Also then it's about community and about networking. Think about it. We now have 115 schools network. That there's a massive network there. We also have then, the student cohorts and so on and so forth. You've got qualifications, you can help the students to stand out with the industry recognized qualifications. And the thing about it is, it's not just recognizing, World Chefs are recognizing the school program, but then they're also recognizing the students as well, because they're being awarded with a global certification at some point, along with their own certification, which they're getting from the schools. So the schools are seeing the benefits as well. And that hopefully will attract, more students, into those programs, which is what it's about.
Exactly. I would just want to walk through, if we go next slide, Senia, please. We just walk quickly through the features of this, and we can go back to the benefits and how we can use the maximize your membership. But so basically, once you could become approved, you are part of our education partner directory. So users will find your school in our directory. And if you go next slide, Zenia, we'll go through this rather quickly. You will have then your profile page there. You will have access to the branded seal, the logo that you can put in your own communication. We'll send you you can have a certificate, and you can have a wall plaque if you wish. So, and you can put this logo on all your communication to showcase that you are a part of that seal of quality.
Ragnar, we've also had some schools who have actually included this logo on the students' jackets and on the teachers' jackets.
That's right.
I think it's great. Fantastic.
That's right. That's really brilliant, because it shows a belonging as well. So
absolutely, yeah.
And then, so if we continue the features, then what we have is once you are a part of the directory, you will have your own profile page in Worldchefs Community, and this is a page that you will be the administrator of, and you can put as many administrators as you like. And this is where you can present your school in the Worldchefs Community. I'll tell you a little bit more about the Worldchefs Culinary community, but this is where your alumni can connect with you. You can engage with your alumni and put links from this page to your own website or where you are recruiting students, what have you. But the very exciting part about that, John, is actually on the next slide. What is the Worldchefs online community? So if we just moving on, Zenia, the Worldchefs online community is powered by HostCo, which is the largest hospitality community in the world, with about, I think, almost 1 million users now in all continents. And the Worldchefs community is on that community. A Worldchefs community that has 100+ schools. We mentioned earlier there are 110, 15, 20. There is always a new adding in almost every week now. We have 110 national chef associations who are our members. And as Worldchef doesn't have individual members, but we have about 40,000 people that are actively subscribing to our news and to our membership, and that are active sort of community members of Worldchef, so to speak, on the HostCo powered Worldchef community. John, if I can just continue on my storytelling. Next slide, please, Zenia.
Oh, yeah.
what can our members do on the Worldchef community is this is a platform where they have, well, it said there are 500,000 members, but actually it's a lot more now. It's almost 1 million now. This is where they can find that at any time, there are tens of thousands of jobs listed, internships, job opportunities. You have all the major corporates in hospitality that are using this platform to recruit. So it becomes really relevant to the students once they graduate or when they're looking for internship. And at the same time, they will be able to use this platform for additional resources, career resources. And of course, when they create their Worldchef account, the free Worldchef account, they link to your school's webpage. They will not only be able to engage with you, your school, what you're doing as an alumni, but also they will have additional access to all of Worldchef's resources, which we'll tell you a little bit more about later, which is all the webinars, the events, the physical one, the online events that we are actually providing to our members, and in some cases producing with you, the culinary schools. So that's what I wanted to touch base on, John. So so we can actually, if you want to go to the next one, Zenia, John. So this is a new feature we have. Actually, what we mentioned earlier, the approved courses. That's the other leg. You want to talk about that a little bit? Or?
Yeah. So this approved courses program is where, let's say a school that's already part of the recognition program, they can then upload. They can put 5 complimentary listings on a Worldchefs approved courses for that's for their increased market visibility. So they can use this as a tool, as a marketing tool to promote those programs. And again, those programs, as we've already said, they could be, say, programs, they could be short courses, maybe, a 12 or 14-week cookery course, whatever. Could be specializing in anything, pastry work, chocolate work, sugar work, whatever, doesn't matter. And we've had a fantastic response to that, actually, from some of our recognized schools. So we're getting really good good traction on it and great interest. So it's again, it's another option we have.
If I can mention, John, so as an approved school, as a recognized school, let me not get confused in my own terminology. As a recognized school, you can post up to 5 courses free of charge as a part of your membership. 5 courses, and as I said, as John mentioned, these 5 courses can be of any type of upskilling, continuous learning, what have you. More importantly, those will be exposed towards our community of the HostCo community of almost 1 million users.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a great opportunity.
Totally, yeah.
And we can go to the next one, John, because that's a really interesting one, because we find that one thing is to list your courses, but what you really need, if you want to be competitive, you need to push your communication. You need to push them to the market. And this is what we've been doing, John, with our digital badging. So digital badging is an additional, an add-on feature, really, that we are doing, John. Shall I talk a little bit about
it? Please, yeah.
So basically, what is a digital badge? It's a certificate that we digitalized. So instead of printing out and putting on your wall, you can still do that. But once a student goes through your course, you will represent them with a digital badge. They will claim that badge online on the platform that is dedicated. It's called Credly. It's the world leader on badging credentialing. And what they can do, they can print out the PDF if they wish. But more importantly, more powerful is that this goes into their online profile on the Worldchefs Network or then LinkedIn, where most of the recruitment and professional networking takes place. So this is already in their skills and certification on their LinkedIn profile, all the courses, all the upskilling that they're doing. More so is that they will eagerly share this with their own peers, with other chefs, all around their social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, what have you, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. And we find that when we do seminars and we put these badges out, they are just being shared everywhere. The beauty of that is, if you as a school, you want to license our platform, we will then, once you start issuing the badges, you will have access to the analytics to track and trace how many badges were issued, how many were shared or reshared, and how many impressions, how much marketing exposure your brand has gotten for those badges. So it becomes a whole different ball game, and it's a snowball. So just to go next slide, Zenia, please.
Just to make a point on that, I think it's a great. If you look at those, the branding and the co-branding on the bottom of these badges here, again, these are just from some of our partners, which is fantastic. And again, it's just an example of what we have. Like, if you look at the Dilma tea there, any of the Nestle, the sustainability ones, they're doing really well.
Yeah, some of our schools as well. Our cilantro in Malaysia, and with
Sunrise, absolutely.
Sunrise in Singapore, we were chili crab, Singapore chili crab seminar webinars, and so it's great fun for our members too. But at the same time, it's building your brand. So
and credentialing is the way forward. Absolutely, without question.
So so that's what we want to highlight, and that's an add-on that as an option to license the platform. But so I got carried away, John. Sorry, I just.
That's okay. It's okay. No, we both can. That can happen. That's fine. That's where we are. That's where we do what we do. No, it's great.
Move Zenia, please, because there's another important part of what Worldchefs is doing, and if we go to the next slide, please, Zenia. And I'll let John talk more about it, because you were very much the mastermind with the education committee at the time. We worked on the global culinary certification with CTN Guilds, who was our accreditation body, and this is also as an add-on that schools can opt to do as an additional.
Absolutely.
Maybe you want to explain a little bit more about. What is culinary certification, John? What is it?
What is it? Well, I mean, a global culinary certification is a program that we established to recognize the experience, and professionalism of chefs, at all levels, like from the commis chef level right up to and including master chef level. We've also included in there as well culinary educator. And what we typically did, Ragnar, was we looked at the progression, if you like, the typical progression, ladder that you would see in an industry, and it starts out with the commis chef, working up to chef de partie, through sous chef, and so on and so forth, right up to the ranks. And so for each level, there's a different requirements. There are different sets of standards, and those standards have become the benchmark. I mean, we're getting, I've had requests from, say, some high profile organizations saying, we're looking to hire chefs at certain levels, so we want to talk about, we believe you're the people to talk about the different standards and so on and so forth that they have to meet. And I think that's a great testament to the program, that's been recognized, but also, and that's for the industry chefs, for individual chefs, but also then for the fast track program, for schools, and again for chef associations. Like, look at what we have done with the American Culinary Federation. We've gone into a partnership with them. We've mapped some of their programs, some of their certification programs. So that means then that those chefs who already hold an equivalent qualification through ACF can apply for the fast track World Chef certification. And it's very, very simple and straightforward. There's a bit of work involved and follow-up, but I think it's very important. And we will put that out there for all chefs. And the same goes for schools as well.
That's right. And have a look at next one, because John, what does that mean for the schools? How can they? You mentioned that with the ACF, but schools they also can engage with this program, and it allows them also to.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at it here, you can see, and we've put it in here. We're unlocking a network to help alumni more employable. Invest in your talent and inspire your staff by recognizing their performance. I mean, it's about the students. First of all, it's about, as we said earlier on, while the programs that the schools run themselves, they're getting their own certification, but then World Chefs are then coming along and they're complementing that certification by then further enhancing it by giving them a digital badge at a commis chef level or chef de partie level or whatever level it's at. They tend to be the two levels that we work with the schools, because we recognize them for the program levels that are on a par. So there is that sort of opportunity there for schools. We've had a lot of, you can see here, the digital badges, they will help students to stand out from the crowd. No doubt about that. And, as Stephen has already mentioned earlier on, students want to travel. There's more and more opportunities now for students to travel. And this is a great way for them to do it. They have this digital badge. They've got their program from the school, which is already recognized for World Chefs. And now we have, this digital badging and so on and so forth. So that's another step.
Isn't it? Yeah. It's really just, if I take an example, if I went to Stephen Billingham School here, and then I wanted to work in New Zealand, and when I go and meet employers, then I can sort of show that, you know, my education in Johannesburg was in Stevens School is World Chef approved, and so it's following a global standard. That actually should somehow give them a reassurance, who is recruiting me, that at least I should know that I will know the basic features of what a commis chef is.
Absolutely, and the same for Zahir's program as well, and any of our programs that are mapped by our schools.
That's right.
Which is
and this is what Zahir is doing as well. They are doing this as well. He will tell us. Zahir will tell us about that later. Both Steve and Zahir. So yeah, I just wanted to emphasize that, because that's also a very important one. But hey, we can move on, because you know, we could chat forever. But let's move on, because there are other opportunities. That this is very important for Worldchefs, John. It's Worldchefs Feed the Planet is a part of our goals to be the chefs are a change agent when it comes to sustainability and environmental issues. But to do so, we need to teach ourselves. And so this education program that really is meant for culinary professionals is to open up their eyes to the problem, help them ask the right questions, help them make the right choices when they are buying products from purveyors, when they are planning their menus, whether it's, you know, from a seasonal, and when how they can influence consumers with proposing items that maybe were thrown away or are considered less valuable, put them on the menu again and show how delicious they can be when they're done in the right, with a professional way. So that is what we want to achieve in Worldchefs. And so we have this education program that John, you wanna say more about the program itself?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic program, and headed up by Chris Kirke and his team, and also really strongly supported by Electrolux, and you know, it is a fantastic program. I think if I go back, Ragnar, to the very first conversation you and I had, I think with one of our presidents, Gisler, at the time, and we talked about sustainability. Nobody was talking about it. Nobody knew what it was. You know, it wasn't a conversation. It wasn't part of a conversation. Now it is part of a conversation. And the beauty about this program, which is fantastic, is that this program is free for all of our recognized schools, so they can all buy into this. You know, they get it free of charge. They can actually then, there's also training then that they have a trainer program. So that program, I mean, we ran it here in my school here in Dublin a couple of years ago, and they're still running it through, and it's really very successful. And it has now it is embedded in some of their curriculums now, which is fantastic. You know, so that's what you want. You know, the whole thing is it's about getting that message out there. You know. Yeah,
they can teach it over like 1 hour for a menu. Yeah. They can teach it in 2 days. Or in 3 days, in 3 hour slots. They can. It's very flexible, and it's open source. They can adjust it to their own local conditions.
And it's in the languages. You can see it here. It's in English, French, Spanish, and Portuguese, which is fantastic.
Already in 5 languages, and if we have schools out there that want to pick this up and translate it into their own language, that they can do so. Make local examples of menu planning, etc. They can do so. Just share back with us, and all the people they teach will receive a digital badge. They've gone through the Worldchefs Education.
No, I think we're leading the way with this, you know, because I don't know any other organization that's doing this, you know. And I mean, let's be honest about it, you know, we live in a different world today, you know. And I mean, we have to take cognizance of, you know, where will our food come from in 30 or 40 years time? Like, you know, it's not going to be like it was in the past. It's got to be different. We have to change, and that's it. You know, we've no choice, you know. But I think the fact that it's free of charge, I think it's great.
Absolutely, and it's there for you. So moving on, another feature is that as a part of, you know, being a member of the Worldchefs network is all the channels that we have. We have our podcast. I'm hosting the podcast, and I love talking to professionals about whether it's education, skills recognitions, training, all the issues that are facing our industry, attracting talent. So I'll be interviewing people in the network. We have our webinars, the panel discussions around sustainability, a lot of them. Then also for maybe a bit for the younger, we're doing a lot of blog and social with cooking with Worldchefs, cooking tips, creativity. So, you know, simple techniques, but also you know, learning how to use and thinking more sustainably when cooking. So there's a lot of content that is there available for your students. It's really for the schools. Once they create a Worldchef account, They know that they're a part of this family. They can then have access to all these resources. It's additional resources to what you are teaching them in the school, is what I want to tell our audience, John. So it's being a part of the big family.
Yeah.
And again, if I go to next slide, Senia, if I can, John. This is a bit on my plate here. So we've been doing with our schools. We can do co-produced webinars. Like we did with at Sunrise in Singapore. It was brilliant. We were doing Singapore chili crab. Well, there's a lot of people around the world who've heard about chili crab, but might never have the possibility to follow the recipe and cook one with the chefs in Singapore. And you all out there, you're all unique and you have something to give to the rest of the community. This is what Worldchef is to sharing cultures. And so we can co-create webinars, and we will do the co-branded badging. And again, this has a great reach and great opportunity. So we're always open to suggestions. That's what I wanted to tell the members there. But the suggestion need to come from you. So we're open. We're open.
Absolutely. Yeah. No.
That's so much for the online presence that we have, and it's there for the students. But let's go to next, Xenia. We talk about Congress. John, how many congresses have you been to? Tell us about Congress.
Well, I attended my first Congress back in 1996, I think it was.
Wow, never tired. Still going strong.
Everyone since then, yeah.
Wasn't it in 1928, John? Didn't you attend 1928?
Was you the one next to August Escoffier, John, on that picture?
Oh, God.
I recognize you.
And each one of them they're all different, they're all unique. As you know, we hosted it here in 2004 in Ireland, and it was a fantastic event. It's hard work, but it was really great, fantastic.
But you know what the new thing we're doing, John, at the Worldchef Congress this time, for those who don't know Congress, it's a 4-day of filled with keynote speakers, events. We have social events. They're all the dinners, the gala dinner. So it's a great place for networking.
Absolutely.
But what we're going to do, we're going to have a breakout session. One afternoon is going to be dedicated to the future of education. And we have a great lineup of speakers there. And we're going to talk about, the actual, what is facing our industry is how to attract and retain talent in our industry. What are we doing to attract students to our industry? Is the training adapted to what the industry needs? We're going to look at new teaching methods, because since COVID, we've seen a lot of it's online, offline,
a lot of online
hybrid.
stuff,
What is working? What is here to stay? And how we can be more inclusive in our industry to bring in new populations to work in our industry but are we doing the right things that young people are expecting of us as an employer in the future? So these are the things that we're going to be discussing, and I hope that you will bring your educators to the Congress. But there's also another part of Congress that is great. It's the Billy Gallagher Young Chef Forum. And some people tell me, in other industries, that we are the only Congress that, we do more for the young chefs than the old farts. And, when we are often known to be an old boys club, but that's no more. We have so many young chef clubs there. And the young people have all their space in the Congress. Not only we have the keynote speakers, we have the exhibition, the competition, a demo stage at the competition. But the Billy Gallagher Young Chef Forum is a very special networking event for young people. And so they will also follow the full program with all the networking events, the social events. They also have the opportunity to join in their own lounge. They have their own lounge where we get keynote speakers face to face with the young chefs, so they can ask questions of these people, of the guys. And then we have hands-on excursions for the young chefs. Well, the rest of us go to the rooftop bar. They will have excursions and hands-on and lots of fun. And you cannot follow, John. You have to be under 25. But
it's a great education. It's a great education experience for them as well. It really is.
Networking and education, John. Some have gotten their first job abroad like that. And what I tell our education partners, the schools, is like, if you have a student that has done something special, who got the best results, meriting student, bring one with you. Buy their tickets, bring them with you to the. Bring yourself, bring your teachers, but bring a student or 2 or 3 or how many you can afford. But bring them there as well and allow them to experience the Billy Gallagher Young Chef Forum.
That's it's named after a great visionary.
Billy G.
Absolutely. He did so much for chefs right across the world.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So hope to see you at the Congress. Rising Together is the slogan of the Congress in Abu Dhabi, taking place in May 22. Our last Congress, and just to give you a blink of history here, the last Congress was supposed to take place in Russia, was cancelled, and it's the first time a Congress was cancelled since Second World War.
That's right.
So that's, give you a part of the history. So I hope you all can be there, because we have special discounts for our education partners, for the young people. Also, if you want to take a booth and be at the exhibition to promote your school, you can have then access to the demo stage. And right now we have a special offer for Ramadan. If you go to the Worldchef website, it will pop up on the screen. You can see it right there on the screen, and you have the QR code if you want to click on the QR code now to check it later.
I know we have some schools have already signed up, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. Not to miss Congress, but we're moving on swiftly, Xenia. Just quickly, the Worldchef Village is also, we put up at the Congress a pavilion with Worldchefs, but we do the same pavilion around the world at the major culinary events. And it can be in Singapore at the Food and Hotel Asia, at the World Cup in Luxembourg, at the Culinary Olympics in Stuttgart, which actually this sample is taken from. It was the last time we actually had a physical event, was in February 2020. And 2 weeks later, we were all locked down. But what we do there is we take up a big pavilion, and this is where you education partners and other partners of Worldchefs and members can take a booth space, a turnkey solution, where you can be there to network, because it's in a prime location where all the chefs will come in and out, the young people who are competing. In Stuttgart, there are over 2,000 competitors, and all the people that come watching, a lot of professionals. And we put up a demo kitchen. So you can also be engaging in doing some demos, but do bring your business cards, because in every afternoon, Worldchef will organize a get-together cocktail, get all the people around our booth, all the chefs. So there is nothing but chefs. So it's really where you need to be if you want to meet chefs. So this is an opportunity, an extra opportunity for Worldchef Education Partners. So let's just move on. Sorry, John. Let's go to. Actually, this slide, approved courses. I don't know where it came from, but we wanted to have a closer look. Let's just move on. And I want to give you, John, the word for a closer look of how to apply this. Now I think, John, now we've been through the whole. We'll have a 360-degree look at where it comes from, what is Worldchefs, what is the Partners Education Network, what are the benefits, what are the features, what other opportunities. It's a big, big family. And now it's to the big question, and you, John, I'll let you answer. What do I do now? How do I apply?
So, I mean, this, as you can see here, these are the steps. Just bear with me for 1 second. I just need to just check something.
Oh, we lost John. John, I just want to sing. What do I do?
It's gone.
It's gone. But so I don't know what happened to John. But we can continue slowly.
Sorry, I'm back.
Oh, he's back.
No, there was somebody at the door. Sorry.
Okay.
No, sorry. Beg your pardon. Sorry. So
that's COVID. That's COVID, John. Hey, we're all in the same boat.
Yeah, exactly. So this is it. The steps towards completing your recognized application. So the first one is obviously to read the requirements, and that's obviously to ensure that your school is eligible to apply. Agree the terms and conditions. Second thing then will be to look at registering the school. And as we've already said before, it's a free sign up and it's online. Everything is online. The whole program is online. You're creating your account and you're setting up your contact details. You're gathering and submitting your information. I always call this the mise en place style. So have everything together. So you'll know exactly what you want. Each of the sections, each question is based around the 12 standards that we've set. So once those, the information has been requested has been furnished, then you go to the next step. You've obviously completed it. You then, step 4 is where you get approved, but it takes about maybe between 4 and 6 weeks to get the approval. That depends on, how much information or additional information may be requested, but it normally takes between 4 and 6 weeks. And then at that stage, then the school is notified of their award. And then, the next thing kicks in. We have the invoices issued. And then interestingly, Ragnar, right? And as you know, we've now started to do an onboarding section, which has been very, very beneficial for schools. So basically what we want to do is we want to tell the, welcome the schools into the family, but also letting them know about the benefits of being part of Worldchefs, which is really, really important.
Absolutely. And then that completes
yeah, and then that's it. And then what happens then is like the next step after that then would be to maybe if they want to have their programs mapped for certification, well then that's the next step in the process. That's right. Which is
so if we go to the next slide, then we talked before, because the approved courses, they are not different. They also apply for recognized schools, but they need to be listed separately, because we need
to. They do. Yeah. And what happens here? Yes, and what happens here then is that once they've selected their programs and so on and so forth, they would then submit the programs to us, and then a review team reviews those programs to see that they've met the criteria. And if they've met the criteria, well then they move on to the approved section of the application. Then once that's been done, they're then placed online, as you've seen from the previous slides, where you can see the programs already there. And again, these are all free of charge.
Absolutely, yeah. Up to 5 free of charge for our
free of charge,
recognized schools. Or if you are not a recognized school and you have training programs that could be online or other, then there is another model for that they can follow.
Different model, exactly.
But basically, what we do, we approve them, right, John? We approve.
Yeah.
We look at the content, how
absolutely, it's quite similar. It's quite similar to the recognition program. Quite similar.
And so you get a Worldchef approval but when we sort of qualify the processes of delivering the program, so to speak. Yeah. So John, I think we got through all that in no time. That's just
my goodness.
And I'm guessing there's a lot in there, but since we have with us, we can go to the next slide, and I'd love to hear from Zahir and Stephen, because
this is interesting. So this would be, we'd like to introduce our good friends Stephen and Zahir. So Stephen, do you want to start?
Yes.
So maybe we could just ask you just to give a little bit, just a short, brief background about the school and so on and so forth. If we could, that'd be great.
Okay. HTA School of Culinary Art, based in Johannesburg, South Africa, been training cooks, chefs and caterers for about 25 years now. I believe we were one of the first partners into the program back in 2011. And it's for us, it's gone from strength to strength. We not only train chefs in South Africa, but we also got partners in countries like Ghana, Botswana, Tanzania, new clients now coming through from Rwanda. So we're certainly looking after culinary education for those wishing to enter the industry at a school level. But I think equally as important, those currently in the industry that may be qualified by experience, but have no designation, certification or qualification. So therefore progression or promotion is somewhat limited without the required certification in a world that's crazy for certification and evidence of competence.
Great.
Sure. So that's us. We are very busy in the school leaver sector, and of course in the employment sector, but not only just in the hospitality industry. Viewers, we're extremely busy in other sectors like healthcare, airlines, banks, correctional services, mines, etc. Wherever there's a cluster or a gathering of people, as we all know, somewhere in the building, normally underground, there's a cook, chef or a caterer producing well-balanced, hopefully nutritional, affordable, good-looking food to continue with whatever they need to continue with.
That's great. And Stephen, you're still running the National Apprenticeship Program for chefs and cooks? Am I right?
We are, sir. We are. You know, in South Africa, we have, and I'm sure it's the same in other countries, but there's two main avenues for somebody wishing to enter our industry. One, of course, is to go to a culinary school. upon leaving school, and anything from a 1-year to a 3-year program. But I think more importantly, and it's something certainly lacking again in South Africa, is that the employers themselves are relying too much on graduates from culinary schools, or in fact this work integrated learning component from a qualification, which has certainly stumped the employer taking on the school leaver market themselves and doing a good old apprenticeship type system.
Yeah.
We are working with a number of hotel groups in South Africa of apprenticeships, but I just don't think the number's enough. I really don't.
Okay. And just another question. So what will be some of the benefits that your school experienced when you became a recognized school through Worldchefs?
You know, Mr. Clancy, today's youth is crazy about affiliation, brand awareness, accreditation, quality. You know, we are a little bit clustered, or not, that's not the right word, but with our awarding bodies or governmental structures, it is a little bit fluffy when it comes to certification and qualification. So what we find is that the Worldchefs Global Certification has come in and leveled a playing field, and quite frankly, over and above your school's qualification, which is our opinion, and then of course your awarding body, and there are a number of awarding bodies, and more come on board all the time. For the customer, for the client, Worldchefs qualification standardize the whole thing. So whilst it's fluffy with education awarding bodies, Worldchefs is a non-negotiable. So it's leveled the playing field to say, well, if Worldchefs have got some form of recognition or endorsement that is recognized globally, and in a country like Africa, global is a big word. So it just gives you that other tick box and that other layer of trust, quality assurance, and of course, connectivity and employability. And we hope that one day it will become the norm. The norm, meaning that exit from South Africa or entry into countries, this would be the recognized standard for qualification, because it's a little bit fluffy from other awarding bodies coming out of the woodwork all over the place. So I only wish that government bodies such as Home Affairs would start to take note of this. We know the employers do, especially as more people achieve it, but we hope for things like Home Affairs or embassies or immigration, they would accept this qualification as a recognized certificate across the globe.
Right. No, thank you for that, Stephen. It's a really good, insightful input and good comment. Zahir, maybe we can hear a bit from you, coming from the sort of the other side of the.
Hi everyone, my name is Zahir Ahmed. I'm Chief Operating Officer of Kotham, Pakistan. We have a network of about 15 schools in all the major cities. We mainly work with culinary, hospitality, travel tourism, and airline management, and including obviously food safety courses. We've been partnered with Worldchefs since 2017, and all credit goes to John when he approached us, and obviously we discussed all the benefits what student can have. And I mean, I will second Stephen what he was saying. These days I think our youth is all about certification, as many certificates they can get, and especially Worldchef itself is a brand. Anywhere in the world you go, when you talk about chefs, Worldchefs comes at the very top. And I think having a Worldchef certificate increases their chances of acquiring a job internationally, and especially for Pakistanis, I think when they want to travel abroad, it's very helpful for them, as the Worldchefs is known very well across the world, and it had helped our graduates, and we have many more graduates who are studying already in culinary and they are hoping to travel abroad and make the most of it from these certifications.
That's fantastic.
You really mentioned it all, Zahir. Just to remind that both you, Zahir, and Stephen, your schools are using that additional the global culinary certification. So
Yes.
So we have mapped your programs towards your commis chef or the chef de partie levels, depending on their training,
Yes.
physical training, and so they are getting that additional recognition and certification. So
Exactly.
To just emphasize on that. So Zahir, where are your students? Where are they going to? After you train them, I mean, they are mobile. So what countries are they going to? And are
the majority of the students would travel to Middle East. As you can understand, there are restrictions with the visas and the other travel challenges what Pakistani student would face. 30 to 40% would stay in Pakistan, and the rest would go in Middle East. And the ones who probably have some relations and families in other countries like UK, Europe, and the US, Australia, they would go there. And recently we did a project with Germany, which we are pursuing again for further students. Apprenticeship program, we did one with them. The student had completed their diplomas in culinary, and they were given a 3 years apprenticeship in Germany. So we are hoping to, continue that.
You see that the World Chef and City Guilds accreditation is strengthening it. It's allowing them to travel more easier.
Yes, exactly.
Gives it a recognition. And for you, Stephen, just a question. So you using with the global culinary certification, the commis chef, have you had any reaction from industry, from employer side? Do they take on board that additional feature?
Not so much in the South African context, but most definitely. We also export a lot of skills overseas, and again up into the Middle East. I mean, it's such a growth market with Qatar and Doha and Dubai, etc. And then second to that, it's the United States, and then followed closely by the UK. We've certainly had no resistance to anybody entering any form of employment opportunity or interview with that qualification. It can only enhance. I think the key thing is the recipient on the other side needs to also be briefed and savvy to exactly what it's all about. And I think as the program grows legs and becomes more globally world known, I do think that the recipient of the CV or the person that flicks through the person's qualifications starts to understand that value. I do think it will add great value. But we certainly in the business of exporting skills. If we don't, as a country, export youth, I think the continent's going to sink. So any other instrument that's going to assist a local graduate in exploring the globe is absolutely critical. And of course, on the other side of the fence, with a parent or a guardian or even a sponsor investing in a culinary course for their sons or daughters, the bigger the spectrum of employment, because everybody pays an education to enter the world of work. So the bigger the spectrum of employment opportunities, the better it is. So we have this beautiful plaque that's I think we need a new one.
Wow. The new model.
That's the original. That's the original. Wow.
That's the original, a collector's item. This is displayed in reception, and I do believe it is a decision enhancer. That okay, well, this is quite serious now. This is because remember, listeners, we're in a sector where everybody thinks it's easy to open a cookery school, and we need as many affiliations as we can from organizations like Worldchefs to display confidence with a purchaser.
No, absolutely.
That's quite critical. And that's why your 12 standards of quality education can never be deviated, can never be lowered, but only improved upon and currently and continuously maintained and monitored.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the critical thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, thank you for that. That's very strong vote of confidence, and everything you said, we naturally agree with, and it's fantastic. Look, I think, I'm just conscious of time. We're just going to have a minute, but I think we just have one poll, I think, left, Zenny. I think have we one
we're
poll?
We're trying to answer the questions on.
But what we want to do as well is just to again sincerely thank you, Stephen, and Zahir for being participants today. I think you've brought a level of interest, to the whole webinar, and sincere thank you to both of you.
Thank you.
And also we'd like to thank everyone who registered and for participating. I mean, I'm seeing numbers that we've held well over 100 people on this webinar today, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Again, I'd like to thank the team at Worldchefs HQ, for their work, and they're there behind us. They're with us all the way. And look, hopefully we'll see some of you in Abu Dhabi, Ragnar, yeah?
Absolutely. Everybody rise together with us in Abu Dhabi. You can see it.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we come together as an industry.
As an industry, absolutely.
The message of hope and unity that our industry will get through this.
Yeah, and we do just to say as well to people that if we haven't managed to answer some of your questions, we will do so over the next few days. I see a couple of QAs coming in here, so we'll ask them. Yeah. So I think, Sandy, are they doing that poll?
Yeah, the poll is open now. We've got around 44 answers.
Let it run for a while and see, because we've got 97 there, so we'll give it a minute or two, and
there's one question that comes up. How do we register? What do we do? And again, it's all online. Go to worldchefs.org. Become a
worldchefs.org. Yeah, it's all there. Yeah,
find it there under training and certification. This is where you click apply, and then you just go through the process. You have to submit the evidence. It's just upload evidence, what we ask of you, to complete the 12 standards. And it's as simple as that. Yeah. So to apply.
And then we're there as well. Yeah, we're also there as well. If there's any questions, people can just forward the question. There's a contact there where we can answer any questions for people as well. So, and that's generally. But in the main, like most people, they follow it. They're kind of quite easy to follow. And the good thing about it is you can step in and step out of the application form. You don't have to do it all in one step. It's automatically saved. You can go back in again and just pick up where you left off, which is really.
That's right. It can be a lengthy process, so you can, you need more evidence. You go out, you log back in. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that the most people have voted, so I can share the results of the poll.
Okay. Yeah. Stephen, you wanted to say something? Sorry.
I just wanted to add something. I think one of the other advantages that needs to be mentioned is there's a lot of certification bodies, there's a lot of awarding bodies, and obviously some are private, some are governmental, and some are a bit of both. But I think what's essential is it's so easy these days to certify yourself through digital access, through scanning machines, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And I think what Worldchefs gives you is that extra layer of there is a form to check the qualification, to check the credentials behind the qualifications, to check the working experience, to check the school, to check the lecturers, the tutors. So there's checks and balances all the way, because the employer is inundated with certification from all sorts of bodies, some genuine, some Mickey Mouse, with this type of certification, you've got the support of checking it out globally across the world with a click of a button.
Absolutely. No, that's a very good point. It's a very good point.
Yeah, very much
totally,
so, yeah.
Totally dead right. And that's what's unique about the system as well. You're dead right. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So, listen, just again, on my behalf, and I'm sure on behalf of the Worldchefs team, a big thank you to you both, and to everybody involved, to our participants. Have a safe time, and hopefully we'll see some of you in Abu Dhabi.
Okay, and to all the culinary educators across the globe, on behalf of Worldchefs, thank you. You do a great job, and you are the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Zahir. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen.
Take care.
John, thank you very much, and great thanks to our team in Worldchefs, Zenia, and that is behind the scenes, and Olivia, who's been a great help in organizing this all, and to everybody at the Worldchef office that has helped us put this together and keeping the momentum alive. So
we'll call it Worldchefs HQ.
Worldchefs HQ. Here we go.
That's where we are. Great stuff. Listen,
Thank
stay
you.
safe, everybody. Take care, Stephen. Take care, Sarah.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Ragnar. Thanks, Mr. Clancy. Thank you, sir.
Bye bye.
Thanks, Zahir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Worldchefs.